Hey everybody, Steven here, playing Subnautica Below Zero, and today we have some really big updates, one in particular that we're going to look at. I'm going to start from the beginning here, because they have added in the ability to skip the intro now, which is pretty cool if you've starting new games a bunch like I do. Typically you would do that with console commands, but now it's just in-game. You just hold down E. So we're going to look at that, and then the big thing that we're actually going to look at is they've reworked the Arctic Spires. And then they've actually updated Margs Greenhouse, so we will check that out as well. Alright, so it says right there, hold E to skip. Hold E. There it is. And voila. Alright, so we have that. But let us go over the hill here. Let's speed this up. Alright, so the structure of the Arctic Spires has changed, and it's actually gone back to, for those that have been playing since this released in early access, this was how it was originally set up, is that you had this precursor cache here all the way in the back like it is now. And then they moved it over this way, and now it's back. And I like this being in this back corner. Just, it makes you, it really forces you to come back here, where before you didn't necessarily have to come back here. We still have the Worm Boneyard here. My guess is they're going to do a lot more with this, especially since we just have like a placeholder here. It's a low-res model too. Be curious to see just kind of the... My assumption is that's a placeholder for like a corpse, right? Or a decaying body there, so... That, and we'll see more bones. Oh, we have a purple tablet fragment right there too. And with this, you can see the precursor bounty that was here. It was like the garden, right? The plant garden deal. I haven't been able to find that, but that got moved somewhere. Everything inside of this particular base, though, is the same. So once you go down, and you're actually inside, so this will all look the same. As far as I can tell, they haven't changed anything here. Still find one of Alan's body parts there. But let's head back out. So I'm really curious to see how they tweak this landscape. So one of the things on the Fabro site that they've listed with needing to be worked on here is more places to hide, more places to find cover so that you don't essentially freeze to death. And the places to hide are really to hide from the ice worm. Adding more plants, just more diversity to this area. It's really cool when you go underneath and you see it gets frozen, and then they'll disappear. So outside of that big change there, we still have the meteor that's crashed here. I thought there was one other tunnel system, but right now we just have this one. I can't remember if this has been tweaked or not. I want to say it has, but I'm not 100% on that. Purple tablet fragment, and then we come out. I remember you could go down and out through there. It just seems like they've tweaked it a little bit, but that may be in my head. So now that they've moved that over here, where this was is essentially just, which I think before was the Ice Worm Arena 2. Now it's kind of gone back to that, because you had the precursor cache there, but since it's been moved, we're back to the Ice Worm Arena 2 here. And this is kind of bare bones now, because this is all gone. And we'll see the Stalker fall. So curious to see how they tweak that. I'm hoping they add a couple more of the Arctic Spires there. It has room for it, because those things look really, really cool. Oh, and then up here where there was a precursor gate, a warp gate there, look at this. Looks like we potentially are going to get another little room here, or maybe a gate, I don't know. Looks like they have the force field. Let's ghost in and see what it asks for. Oops. Yeah, it wants a tablet. And I'm assuming if we put that in, this will just drop, but we can just walk through here, so that doesn't do anything for us. But looks like we're going to get something right here, which is pretty cool. Which I was hoping for. I was hoping they'd put more of the precursor bases or the architect bases in game. This leads back out like it did. The first portion of the Ice Worm Arena hasn't changed from what I've seen. Still the same. So all of that is intact. And then the area that's kind of like the maze up top. This is all the same from what I can tell. They haven't really tweaked this. But if we float through the map here, there it is. Let's bring weather and the fog back on. Alright, so this I've covered in another video, but they've changed it now. So it was just the precursor gate, the warp gate. Now we have a hole blasted in this. Then it leads us down. And it's essentially this partially buried precursor base, which I think looks pretty cool now. And we can see the other blown out end here, which leads us back down to the elevator. So they found this thing, couldn't get in, so they just blasted their way in. So I thought that was pretty cool. Huge change. I wasn't expecting that either. But yeah, this should lead us back to the Snowfox base. So those are the big ones to the Glacial Basin here, or the Ice Worm Arena. Take that off so we can see it a little bit better. I'm assuming too they're going to add a lot of icy structures in here, since it is partially buried. And it'll kind of look more like where you see the frozen Leviathan. That's just my hunch anyways. Let's see the outside of this thing. I mean, it's a pretty good sized base. Because at least so far, a lot of the ones in the game haven't seemed as big as, I mean, you had the primary containment facility, and all the other huge bases, the thermal plant, all of that in the first game, and none of these have really touched, was it the research base? Have touched the size of that. So it doesn't seem like they've tweaked the tunnel yet, but all of that is in game currently. And then up here, I'm wondering if they're going to move that precursor bounty over here, where we're going to see the, I don't know, the planter, the agricultural precursor bounty. Just a hunch. We'll see. So we have that. I thought that was pretty cool. But let's skip across the map because there's something that I skipped in the last video talking about Research Base Zero. And everybody pointed it out in terms of changes with this, where we have the Prawn Suits on this side now. They were on this side originally. And I did point out you can scan stuff in this base now where you couldn't before. So you can actually get scans from everything here, which is pretty awesome. But if we go inside the base, I didn't go into this room. So this is where you originally started the game, inside of this base. But now they've tweaked that and they've split it. So it's essentially locker rooms. So we have this, come to the other side, and we have this locker room over here. So no longer a bedroom like it was. We get locker rooms. So forgot about that, but wanted to cover it. And then I'm going to double check because I haven't double checked. I'm going to go fast here. Nope, no more work done to this yet. I was hoping they were going to add some of the textures in, but oh well. All right, so let's zoom across the map. We're going to go to Margs Greenhouse. So they've updated that, so it actually has like the same textures, the rusted look that her base has. There it is. We go inside, and so they've applied that in here, minus some lockers, I've noticed, just haven't been updated yet. But we have more plants as well. Planters on the wall, the entryway there. So now I'm just looking for the indoor grow beds. I don't have those in here yet. So I think they'll fill this out even more. But looking really good. I'm excited to see what they put around this also. So the different, I don't know if they're going to put plants or just rocky structures, or, I mean, maybe we get some heat fruit. Let's go back today. Because right now, we don't really have anything, but based off how this looks, I'm assuming we'll kind of get the same look over there. We'll get some of the grass, some of these guys, some of these plants, and it'll just kind of fill it out. Because I would assume she would pick a location that's pretty concealed, but that's just my hunch with that. So those are the bigger things that they've changed, and I thought those were pretty major. I mean, they did a huge restructuring of the Arctic Spire there. But I'll be curious to see how they fill it out when they finally get around to doing that. They've done some other things, like they finally put in the ability to make the coffee, the thermos in-game. Still fixing bugs. So a lot of bug fixing. Phantom snowfox bug. It says they've added force fields to the caches, but I think some of those already had them, so I don't know. Maybe that was that one that we looked at that was in that cave. But yeah, craftable thermos. They hooked up the sea monkey gift sound. Static interference display from Sea Glide map on land. More updates to snowstalker behaviors. Usually when they say something like that, it can be very, very subtle and hard to pick out. Oh, another thing. I almost forgot this. Luckily, I was reading through that. They have added a world map to the rocket base. And I thought this was pretty cool. Right in here. There it is. Very detailed too. But just looking at it, so the very top circle, that looks like Research Base 0. The X looks like the Sanctuary, just right below that, kind of close to the center. The triangle with the arrow pointed up to it seems like that's the rocket base. Trying to decipher what the other X's mean, because it looks like the green squares are portions of the crashed ship. I mean, one of those X's could be one of the precursor bounties. What is that? The Omega sign, that would be Research Base Omega. The circle with a line through it, not 100% sure, because that's pretty far back. I don't know. That doesn't seem like that would be the Snowfox base. And then we have another X, but that looks like that's over Marg's base. So yeah, very, very high detail in this, though. I thought that looked pretty cool. So we have that in game as well. So they have updated a ton this week so far. Excited to hopefully see more story changes and updates here pretty soon, but we'll see about that. Still no official date, or at least month that they've outlined for EA 10 as of yet, but hopefully we'll hear about that here pretty soon as well. So that is going to be it for this video, everybody. If you like the video, hit the like button for me. If you want to continue to follow along with all of my content, hit the subscribe button for me. Thanks so much for watching.